Okay, Stalkers, I'm joining you just post the screening from Tomo Uchida's Killing in Yoshiwara. My first experience with this filmmaker. Again, I love Japanese cinema. I'm not well versed in it. As I said before, I know some of the major names and I know some of the lesser names. So lesser names is a bad way to put it. Some of the not as prominent names. There's no nice way to say it. There's Kurosawa, Mizoguchi, Ozu, and then there's the other guys. Tomo Uchida, I've never heard of it before. They're doing a 2-week retrospect, maybe it might be a 3-week retrospective. It's almost 20 films, which is about half of his output, actually. He spent 10 years as a prisoner in Manchuria just after the war. The beauty of doing these things in New York City is you get production value like this, ladies and gentlemen. You know how much Irwin Allen had to pay for this? I'm getting it free. I'm getting it free because I live in Manhattan. I think I see Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. Hang on a second. One of them's rappelling between the buildings. I've never seen anything like this. Oh, the calamity, ladies and gentlemen, the catastrophe. And a hail and hearty thank you to the men and women of the New York City EMS. Thank you not only for adding production value to my video, but for hopefully saving someone's life right now. No joke. I hope those guys go safely and they do some good tonight. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to my frivolous comments about a movie. Yeah, so I got to see Killing in Yoshiwara tonight. It's the movie that's kicking off the festival. They said going in that he wasn't the friendliest filmmaker to the human race. I didn't have the highest opinion of it. I guess 10 years as a prisoner in Manchuria might color your opinion of the world, but apparently this was his entire worldview for the bulk of his career. Having seen this movie, they always paint Mizoguchi with the brush that he had kind of a sad, somber view of the world, and that Ozu had sort of a, I guess, maybe a drunken view of the world, for lack of a better way to put it. If this film is any indication of what Uchiwa's work output was like, then yeah, this is a master nihilist at work. But my God, nihilism never looked so beautiful. It was apparent from the first few minutes of the movie that this guy was a master narrative, a visual stylist, that he used visuals to tell the narrative more than the dialogue. And again, fitting that he started out in the silent era, because a lot of the guys who started out without, having the benefit of sound in their films, they had to use every narrative trick in the book to tell their stories, every visual trick in the book to tell a narrative. I noticed how almost imperceptibly the camera moved in this movie, but when you did notice it moving, it was very balletic and not as pronounced, say, maybe as Mizoguchi, not as ornate were the camera movements in this film, but when they moved very gently, very almost imperceptibly. The color scheme was both. The color scheme was eye-popping but muted at the same time. It was a very colorful film, but it was very almost withdrawn in its color scheme, even though they were very like popping yellows and blues and reds. Like it sort of was muted in a way. It's almost like denied them their full flower. It's kind of strange, that had to be by design, I would imagine. The central performances, the movie reminded me a lot of, it's about someone who's basically cuckolded by a gay show, or a girl who wants to become a gay show, like a supreme gay show. It reminded me of a lot of films that came before, like The Blue Angel. Most notably, it reminded me of Scarlet Street by Fritz Lang with Edward G. Robinson and Joan Bennett. It has that same sort of through line to it, even though there are variances between the narratives. But I found it to be a very, very interesting movie, even though I couldn't really find any characters to root for in the film. They're all pretty bad. They're greedy, they're unthinking, they're disloyal. There's maybe 1 or 2 characters in the movie that you can kind of root for as human beings, and then the rest of them are kind of either pathetic or just horrible and preying on the pathetic. But wow, what, again, like if you're telling a story about horrible people and the horrible things they do to the weak, you couldn't ask for anybody who's more energetic in their cinematic narrative. This guy's really drawn my interest, and like I said, we have 2 more weeks. I believe it's 2 more weeks. It could be 3 more weeks. Who knows? I'm not telling. Go to my website and you'll find out, okay? I have an interactive calendar on my website. It links you to the theaters, to the films, to the series. You can click through and buy tickets if you want. You can leave comments. You can do a lot of things. I'm not going to grab everybody by the hand and walk you through this, okay? Go to my website or go to the MoMA website and find out. But this is definitely a series that's worth, it's worth checking out. If you're into Japanese cinema at all, I've never heard of this guy, like I said, and a lot of people in the audience, I could tell tonight, had not heard of this guy. But they're really putting in the effort. This is the most extensive retrospective of his work outside of Japan ever, apparently. So you have the opportunity now, going into the last weeks of October and into early November, to check out a master Japanese filmmaker who is finally getting his due, hopefully, on these shores. So I highly recommend it. I'll be back up here for 7 more of these films, and I'll be checking back in with you via Nitrates.tv, what you are watching right now. Please spread the word about it. Please keep watching. I'm not going to stop, so just, you got nothing to do, I got nothing to do. Let's just do this, okay? But anyway, I'm signing off for now, and Killing in Yoshiwara. What a great introduction to this director, and what a great introduction to this series. So I'll be back up here, and hopefully you'll be following me, and hopefully you'll get up here and buy some tickets. In the meantime, I'm signing off. But again, you can follow me on all the various social media apps and my YouTube channel, and check out my website, and just in general, like I always say, signing off for now, but stick with me, Stalkers.